Hello and welcome to the Should You Buy for the Assassin. We're going to look at the mech's stats, possible builds, possible locations for hardpoints and hitboxes based off its concept art, and whether or not you should buy. But first, let's look at the camo specs, because some people love to look good, and some of these heroes and specials have some really cool specs. We got the Dark Death, a very edgy name. It's, as you can see, darker colors, more grays, and it's got these sort of black, oily, dripping out of its various sections as it's like it's decaying. It's interesting. Moving on to the special, it's more of a rusty look to it. The gun right here is rusting, almost like a Forest Lands rust kind of feeling. And then of course the standard. Well, moving down here to the cost of the packages, as per usual, standard pack $20, collector's pack $40. Comes with 3 mechs, and the collector's pack comes with the additional mech that has 30% C-Build boost. Mech-based premium time items, cockpit items, and titles and badges, of course, between the 2 sets. Then the hero and the reinforcement add-ons for $15 each. And we'll be looking at these, the Dark Death and the 26 and the 27, to see if they are pay to win or pay to optimize. Ultimate pack is everything put together, and I still think that this should be $60 or $65, not $70. You know, you're going out there and you're paying $70, give them a little bit of a deal. Take $5 or $10 off the top, and it'll be much appreciated and might push more people towards the ultimate pack. Early adopter rewards, nothing special here. There's the pattern, but it's not a new pattern, it's just the tire pattern. The currency, decals, there's not much value here, so you don't really have to get an early adopter reward. You can wait, as you know, if you purchase the mech right before the day it comes out, you'll still get it on the same day everyone else does. So you can wait until you have hardpoint locations, in-game models, and quirk details, and all that kind of information before you buy, which I would recommend. Moving down to the specs, this is a 40-ton battle mech, as you can tell by having a max engine rating and this saying hardpoints and not Omnipod hardpoints. So trick to tell whether or not it's a battle mech or Omni-mech. But yes, it's 40 tons, it has a max engine rating of 365, except for a 380 on the 101. And it's got 7 jump jets, 5 on the 101, and the 27 and Dark Death have access to ECM, and nobody has access to Mask. Let's hop over to Spreadsheet Warrior and take a look here, and I'll pop these back into Pharaoh just for a moment. Now, for the Assassin, you're more than likely going to take an XL255 or a 280, maybe a 300. Those are sort of the 3 engines that I have targeted as being the ones that I'm going to be looking at mainly for my theory crafting. If we look down here in the standard engine section, we can see that even with Endo and Pharaoh, we have very, very limited pawn space because of the heavy weight of the engine. You can make a few builds work with a standard 250 engine, be a 108.8 after tweak, and it would give you 12 tons of pod space. So there are a few laser builds you can make work. You would have that extra durability of the standard engine, but your firepower would be significantly limited because of it. Now, you can't even take some of the larger standards. As we see here with the standard 325, even with Endo and Pharaoh, we're already in the negatives for pod space. So there's absolutely no way you can take a 325 standard or higher on the Assassin. Unfortunately, it just does not have the tonnage for it. But we can see here on the XL side how the speed comes out and how the pod space comes out. For the 255, we have a speed tweak of 111 kph. The 280 is 121.9. The 300 is 130.6. We look at the top speeds here of 365 and 380. We're getting up to 160 almost and 165, which is pretty ridiculous, but our pawn space is suffering. At those 2 high speeds there, we're only going to have about 6 tons and 3 tons of pod space. So really, you're never going to take an engine of this size, except for shits and giggles. maybe on a couple builds you do, like, I got a 380 and 3 medium lasers, you can't touch this because I got a 165. Sure, you'll play around with that for a while, and then you'll want to go back to a 250 or a 280 because you need the firepower. So mainly I did all of my theory crafting at 255 and 280 for 111 and 121.9, and that gives you approximately 18 tons or 16.5 tons. But you start running into the problem of available slots. There's a few of the builds here that just simply do not have enough space. So I had to switch into standard armor in order to get these slots back, and it loses you a little bit of tonnage. However, every one of these variants has absolutely nothing in the left arm, so you can strip that for armor, you can get a little bit more of the tonnage back, and I'll go over the exact numbers you get that you get for tonnage when you strip some of the armor out in the key locations. But back over to the specs here, and let me position this correctly so we can see both the names and the hardpoints at the bottom. We'll go through the theory crafting for all the different mechs here. We have the standard package here, the reinforcements here, and the hero here. We're going to go from left to right. Now for the 255 engine, if you do not have Pharaoh and you strip at the right locations, you can get up to 17.5 tons. If you have Pharaoh, you gain a ton basically, up to 18.5. With a 280, we have 16.5 without Pharaoh, and 17 with Pharaoh. Just a little less of a change there, only half a ton, as you just had to strip too much armor. You started stripping too much from the legs and too much from the head, in my opinion, to make it worthwhile, to be able to click over to the next half ton. You know, it was like 17.3 sort of thing, and I didn't want to take off that little extra bit. So I instead put a little bit armor back into the left arm to use as a shield, but that is where they stand. Now, for the Assassin 21 here, we have 2 missile in the left torso, 2 missile in the right torso, and 2 energy in the right arm, for a total of 4 missile and 2 energy. Now, primarily this thing is going to be a short-range SRM striker kind of feeling. With a 255 engine, we can do 4 Artemis 4s and 2 medium lasers, a jump jet with Endo and Artemis. We cannot do Pharaoh on here, as it simply does not have the space with all of the Artemis 4s, with 3.5 tons of ammo, so 350 rounds. So, again, this is a pretty decent striker. We've got both the tightness of the 4s and the Artemis added to them. So the 4 Artemis 4s will be hitting a very tight spot on the enemy mech, allowing you to core out a back section very easily. If we wanted to drop the medium lasers, we could go to 2 Artemis 6s and 2 Artemis 4s with 4 tons of ammo, a single jump jet, Endo Artemis, and a 255 XL. Or if we wanted to drop Artemis in order to save a little bit of extra weight there, we could go to 4 SRM 4s, 2 medium pulse, 3 jump jets, a 255, Endo, and just Endo, no Artemis on there, and 4 tons of ammo. So, you know, it's a decent striker. You can mess around with exactly what type of missile or energy hardpoint setup you want on it, but it's going to be some combination of SRMs and lasers. Moving on to the Assassin 23, we're in a very similar situation to the 21, except that we're minusing a missile to add an energy, as we have 3 missile in the right torso and 3 energy in the right arm. It's very similar to one of the Griffin mechs, which has basically the exact same design here. But because of this, we can go into 3 Artemis SRM 4s with 3 medium lasers now, a jump jet, and an XL 280, with Endo, Pharaoh, and Artemis, with 4 tons of ammo. So, a lot of ammo there. You know, it's very, very, very similar to the 21, because it's basically the same hardpoints. We could also drop the Artemis if we wanted to for 3 SRM 4s with 3 to 4 tons of ammo, 3 medium pulse lasers, 2 jump jets, an XL 280, Endo, and Pharaoh. So, really, these ones will play extremely similar. Moving on to the 101, we see, again, we're dropping a missile hardpoint down to 2 missile, and gaining an energy hardpoint, up to 4 energy, with an energy in the head, left torso with 1 missile, 1 energy, right torso with 1 missile, 1 energy, and right arm with 1 energy. Now this is the one that can take the max engine rating of 380, but as we discussed earlier, you will never do that. This one, you can go, say, 2 Artemis SRM 6s with 4 medium lasers, 2 jump jets, 280, Endo Pharaoh, Artemis, 3 tons of ammo. It's pretty good. A little bit more onto the energy side of it, and then having backup missiles. Interestingly, this is the exact same hardpoint distribution that the Cicada X5, the Cicada Hero, has. So I actually used that mech in order to mock up this design for the 101. We can also do a laser vomit build because you're starting to get a little bit of energy hardpoints here. We can do 2 large pulse lasers and 2 medium lasers with 2 jump jets, an additional 2 double heat sinks, and an XL255 with Endo and Pharaoh. Maybe when you're just basicing the mech, you're going to drop one of those medium lasers, maybe the one in the right arm, then you can strip that arm and put on a little bit more DHS, because you won't have Cool Run and you won't have the Elite ×2 bonus. But probably when everything is said and done, you can go back to the 2 large pulse and 2 mediums. Moving on from there, we have the first of the reinforcement set, the Assassin 26. It's got 2 energy in the left torso, 2 ballistic in the right torso, and 2 energy in the right arm. Now, I don't normally talk about quirks and what they possibly could on these mechs because there's really no way for me to know, but this is very, very telling. Having a single Ultra 5 on a mech this light. We can see that with the Cicada and the Wolverine and all those kind of stuff, is that if you have a medium with an Ultra 5, you're gonna get a jam chance quirk. So I can almost expect a -30, -40% jam chance quirk with this mech, but it may change. That really depends on how they decide to do things in the future. But because it has 4 energy, it can do the exact same laser vom build that I was describing here on the 101, but it can also do a 4 medium laser, single UAC 5, plus as much ammo as you would want, 2 or 3 double jump jets, and an XL255 with Endo and Pharaoh. Possibly you could rearrange that a little bit, take a little bit less ammo, take a little bit less jump jets, and get that up to an XL280 if you wanted the little bit of extra speed. But you know, it's going to be the standard. This is the one we see on the Cicada. I believe it's the 3M that has the ECM and the Ultra 5. We're going to see that same sort of build, well, of course minus the ECM because this one's not capable of it, but the 4 medium laser Ultra 5 build. Moving on to my next sheet for me of my theory crafting. I've got a literal paper in front of me. And we've got the Assassin 27. This is the first one with ECM. It is in the reinforcement pack, and there is no ECM in the standard pack. That's a little annoying. It would have been kind of nice if, I don't know, the 101, or maybe like the 23 and the 27 could swap places. That would make me much happier, because they're the same in terms of number of weapon hard points, basically. This has 2, well, this one have 3 energy and 2 missile. This one has 3 energy and 3 missile. But this one has ECM. It'd be great if the 27 and 23 could swap places. That would make me so much happier and get rid of the fact that you are hiding ECM behind a paywall. But we do have 3 energy and 2 missile and an ECM. So you're going to be able to do all of the same sort of splat builds. You can do most of the things the 101 can do here in terms of like 2 Artemis 6s and some energy hardpoints. That's going to work on there. You have the ECM, which will take up a little bit of space and weight. So that's where sort of that lack of an additional energy hardpoint is basically going to, that resources are going to be put towards an ECM. And it's also going to be able to do things with that ECM. You can put on several jump jets. You can be able to, say, do a dual PPC Pop-Tarter. That will work with this thing, or a dual large pulse laser, single ER medium, not ER medium, a single medium laser in the head, and 2 large pulse lasers in the right arm with ECM. So it's going to be pretty decent in terms of its short-range ability with the 2 Artemis 6s it's most likely going to carry, but it's also going to be the one to do pop-tarting energy under ECM cover. And moving on here to the Dark Death, we have, let's see here, 2 energy hardpoints, 2 missile, 1 ballistic, and an ECM. Now, this one does not have the Ultra 5 of the 26. So more than likely, I don't know, again, I'm speculating on quirks that I don't like to do, but I don't expect a UAC Jam Chance quirk on this one. And only 1 ballistic. You could possibly do some stuff here. Maybe you manage to squeeze on an AC-10, but it will be difficult with the tonnage you get. But let's look at the builds that I have for it. We have 1 large pulse laser, 1 medium laser, 2 Artemis 4s with 2.5 tons of ammo, ECM, a jump jet, Endo Pharaoh, and 255. So sort of a mixed bag there, with the little bit of laser, a little bit of missile backup. We're ignoring the ballistic hardpoint. But you can also do something along the lines of a single PPC and a single AC-5 with 2 tons of ammo, ECM. Unfortunately, no jump jets with this, Endo and Pharaoh, and this would be an XL255 as well. You know, a little bit of a sort of ECM sniper from the backfield. Kind of low on ammo for the AC-5 with only 2 tons. Kind of like to have 2.5 or maybe 3 tons with that. But I feel like this hero is a little bit hardpoint starved, which is good and bad. It means that the hero isn't like crazy or overpowered, but it also means that it's not that interesting to pick up. But I think you could be able to fit in like an AC-10 and like 2 medium lasers and an ECM. Actually didn't do that theory crafting. But yeah, that is the hard points for this mech. Let's head back up to the top and take a look at its possible hitboxes and hardpoint locations. So, the main thing that sticks out to me, which is its nose, because it's sticking out. This is my main concern about this mech and its hardpoints and its hitboxes, is that this sort of upper torso here protrudes a fair amount. How much is this protruding? How much of this is like this section here? Is this side torso or is this center torso? If it's side torso, maybe it's a little easy to side torso this thing. Maybe XL engines will be frightening with this. It'll all depend whether or not it has like stalker side torsos or more akin to like dragon side torsos. If this is all CT up here, this thing will get CT'd quite easily. It'll be more like a Jenner. It'll be interesting to see where its hitboxes lie. Hopefully they find a nice balance between them. But we can see where some hard points are going to show up. We've got this right here. You can see down below, it's not in the shoulder, it's sort of in the waist of the mech. You've got this hardpoint mount here. So you are going to have to expose a decent portion of your mech just above the hips here in order to most likely get all your weapons on target. But I think it should be pretty easy considering the arms seem to be in line with that. So once you've cleared one weapon, you've cleared all of the weapons and won't be a knuckle dragger comparatively to things like, say, the Cataphract, where when it has its torso-mounted energy hardpoints cleared, its arm-mounted hardpoints need another several meters. You need to go forward more in order for the mech to clear something. And yeah, let's see, so that's probably like a missile hardpoint there or something along those lines. You can see that's an energy in one of the arms. nice big cockpit for sure. That's going to be a lot of glass. You're going to be able to see up quite nicely, which can or cannot be a useful thing. I suspect you'll be able to see enemy UAVs quite nicely. But overall, hardpoint locations are going to be fine, especially because you have jump jets. You can always just push yourself up that tiny bit for a short duration in order to clear things and then shoot and then fall back down to cover. And hitboxes scare me a little bit because of this protruding nose, but it could be fine. It all depends on how they set up the difference between center torso and side torso. But overall, my final opinion on this mech is it's going to be a pretty decent fast striker. You're going to want to wheel in behind people. You have SRMs, you have pretty good laser hardpoints. You're going to try to just be a harassment. Use your 255 engine, your 280 engine. You're going to be going over 100 kilometers an hour. You're going to have jump jets. You're going to be hard to catch. You're going to use that to your advantage. The only real problem I have with pay to win in this package is with the fact that ECM is entirely limited to the reinforcement in Hero. It would be nice if they had a single variant of the ECM in the standard package. But overall, the variants that are included with their hardpoints and such don't look crazy overpowered compared to the standard packages. So overall, I think it's decent. And if you like fast-moving sort of striker-type mediums, this may be a good purchase for you. But that is it for my thoughts on the Assassin. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.